All right, hey Jess, I'm Walking Dolphin. Let's take it down to Dallas. Do you think the Dallas situation that happened, you think that has any relation with what's going on out here? Like a lot of people are trying to say, as far as like the Baton Rouge incident or the Minnesota incident.
I think it's directly related. I think it's directly related to the incidents, and at the same time, I actually think it's. See, my mind naturally goes towards conspiracy. Well, some people say I conspire, but I just think I look for other angles and shit. I was always taught my teacher to ask why. You know what I'm saying? And I always look for the why in the scenarios, like why are these things occurring? Now we know, of course, white supremacy and the design of it and the structure of it. If you don't know it, you should learn it. Look it up. Francis Cress Wilson, ISIS papers, dig into books along that line, going along that thread. But I definitely think it's related. First of all, the protests occurred. The protest that was happening in Dallas was a protest or a peaceful march or a peaceful gathering that was the result of both of those lives that were lost in that 48-hour period. So they decided to gather in Dallas. I think they had a gathering in Atlanta. I know they had a gathering in Minnesota. And then I'm not for sure, but I know there were gatherings or peaceful protests where people came together to express their regret, concern, issues with the lives that were lost. So it happened in a few places throughout the United States. I even heard it happen as far out as what country was I just seeing? I damn near want to say Switzerland, but I don't for sure. Don't quote me on that. But they were happening in numerous places. So this one that was happening in Dallas, in downtown Dallas. I think the gathering was for what it was for. It was peaceful. People come together. We've been coming together we came together for Mike Brown. We came together for Trayvon Martin. So people are coming together to show that energy and show that support for one another and show that support for the injustice and try to make an effect that way. But this particular situation, I think, was more so orchestrated. Any event that what came as a result of it, meaning that it led into the supposed loss of life of these 5 police officers, 11 supposedly injured, and then one woman who was supposed to be injured too. She was shot in her leg, and that was supposed to be executed by 2 snipers at first, and then it turned out to be 4 people involved. And as of now, as of current, we don't know what the other 3 people look like. We do know what the brother that they said, I think his name was Mekhi X. Johnson, which you can't get no more of, but Mekhi X, his middle name is supposed to be Xavier, but they're referring to him as X. And X immediately takes you to Malcolm X. Regardless if your mind wants to go there or not, it just does. So that's another way to tie him into another energy that was despised by the white supremacy system immediately just by saying his name. But X Johnson, what that's his first name? Mekhi X Johnson. Supposed to be 25 years old. They show pictures of him with military uniform on, then they show pictures of him with the dashiki on. The military uniforms that he have on is just strictly to try to impress upon the people that he had the capabilities and the training to execute these type of things. And then the dashiki is there to say, but he was pro-black, he didn't like white people, and all these other things that a dashiki and a black fist going in the sky are supposed to represent. So, but he was. The police there, the Dallas Police Department, say that they intentionally, at this point, they say that they intentionally blowed him up and destroyed him smithereens with a robot. So we'll never hear his side of the story because dead man's tell no tales. But what they were claiming is that initially it started off a peaceful protest, and toward the end of the protest, shots started ringing out. So after shots start ringing out, though, this is the part that fascinates me. Within 2 to 3 hours, they had already narrowed it down that it was 2 snipers, and they had already captured the 2 snipers, right? Now, I've been to downtown Dallas before. I know how the skyline is set up. I know the amount of skyscrapers and tall buildings that they have there. I also know that the police at a local level are not trained tactically to be able to deal with bombs and to be able to deal with snipers. So unless you had already on reserve a tactical team of police there to come in and assist with a bomb squad, a CIA to come in and do them type of operatives to be able to clear a whole downtown area and sweep every building and find 2 snipers in that short period of time of 2 to 3 hours, that would lead me to believe that, one, either you knew where the snipers were because you planted them there, or 2, you had this level of military already on guard there in Dallas, Texas, just in case this broke out. But then that would lead me to question this. That would lead me to say, okay, well, neither of the incidents within the last 48 hours occurred in Dallas, Texas, so I would think the strongest police presence, if you wanted to have a police presence of that caliber, would be in the fucking places where the shit happened, in Baton Rouge or in Minnesota. Dallas had nothing to do with the situation. It was just a whole separate protest, right? So I think we have been being pushed toward some type of racial divide for the longest. And I mean, since the beginning, I think the first time I came in to understand like the racial differences was, of course, executed to me by one of my friends, who's still one of my friends at this present time, had to call me a nigger right there on the playground and shit. I ain't know what the fuck was going on when it happened. But it's always been an underlining tone, and I think that right now, within this last year, 2 years, especially during Barack presidency, but over these last 2 years, and then really this year going into full swing, this election year, they really been pushing that envelope to try to create that divide and try to create that, make that happen, make that tension more to a point where maybe we can have some degree of civil unrest. And me, in my opinion, I think that's what the whole end game is, to have that civil unrest, have that civil war, make it turn into blacks against cops, which is the easiest thing to execute because they're killing us at a rate, and they're killing us on video, and each video is getting more graphic, each video is getting more closely related. You can damn near smell the blood through the video nowadays. And they're tying it in with that, and then you have somebody like this congressman, I don't even know where he was even a fucking congressman of, Joe Walsh, that just came out basically threatening the president of the United States, man, telling the president of the United States through a tweet that, you know, this is officially declared war. War has officially been declared, that Obama need to be on guard, and all them Black Lives Matter punks need to be on guard because war is officially declared. Then he put a call out to fellow Americans, fellow patriots. He called them the silent majority. He said it's time for us basically to get active, you know. And so, and with that, and that's just one part. But by the time I had seen the tweet and the tweet got removed, it had already had 2,000 retweets. It had like 3,000 likes. So that means his sentiment, his ideology, his way of thinking is already infected in the people. Anyways, you just need a figurehead. Once the figurehead get it going, which is what I believe they use Donald Trump for during his presidency term, and tied him directly in opposition to this created movement, Black Lives Matter, in order to start to perpetrate those two, to perpetrate that tension and that energy and get it going, perpetuate that energy and tension and get it going. And I think that was the whole purpose of that. So right now it's still going on. It's even spilling out, I believe, in the last time I checked on it, in St. Louis, in Missouri, a black man was pulled over just like in the last few minutes or something like that, and supposedly shot the police officer in the neck, took off on foot. So that's gonna be, you know, continue black on police, black on white, because when you take the Joe Walsh, he wants to tie it in and say, hey, patriots, let's stand with these police officers. That's tying this silent majority, which we all know who the fuck you talking to. You know what I mean? The same people who Donald Trump been trying to cater to, or who they have Donald Trump trying to cater to. The same people that the Black Lives Matters have been constantly showing up at these rallies campaigning against, to create that same type of tension that exists. So I think that ties in.